All right, everybody, this is Trapper here. We're doing Fortress Wars Basics. This is how we're going to do things in our alliance. So, we got some rules to live by. Keep the chat clear. All right, that is important because it's hard to concentrate during this. All right, now try to follow the orders as best you can. There are points where it's fast and furious, and sometimes you don't have a march back. And if you don't have a march, it's impossible to send a march. So now we want to keep that chat clear because a lot of times you might miss an order as well, and that would be a terrible, terrible thing. All right. Will we defend castles we take or return troops home? Yes to both of those. Sometimes we defend and sometimes we return the troops home. I'm going to get into some of the benefits and how we win later on in the chat. And lastly, just keep the chat clear. Okay, there's just nothing worse than when afterwards somebody says, "Hey, I missed orders because somebody's whining about whatever going on." So here we go. So we're going to actually jump down and talk about Rule 4 really quick. All right, castles near us mean nothing overall, other than they give us the opportunity to attack the next castle. All right, the victory points at the end, and we're looking at what do we got to do to win this baby. The victory points at the end are only given for castles you control at the end. All right, the castle in the center, that level 5 castle, is worth the most, and if you hold that, you are most likely to win. Okay, unless they actually undercut and take almost every other castle away from you. So we want to do that. So now, in order to attack that, we need to have castles that are next to each other. So what does that mean? That level 5 castle that's in the middle, I did not grab a picture off the internet because I didn't have one, but that very, very center castle is surrounded by, on 4 sides, diagonals don't count, on 4 sides by the level 4s. You got to have a level 4 in order to take the level 5. All right, so kind of going on through. All right, there is a benefit, and this is why we want to hold on to some castles, and we may choose to defend them. There's a benefit when you're holding castles. The scrolls that you receive go up depending on the level of the castle. So if you've got a level 1 castle, you're going to get 10 extra scrolls per minute, not very much. If you got a level 4 castle, that's going to bump up to 60 scrolls per minute. That's pretty reasonable and that's pretty cool. That's one reason why we want to hold on to the level 4s. If we have enough people online and we can grab it, we are going to grab that level 5 castle because 200 scrolls per minute, when you look at the cost of speeds, is definitely worth it. All right. So as a generalization, we're going to defend the level 4 castles we have, and if we can get that level 5 castle, we want to get it in the end, but if we can get it even during, it just helps us all the way along through. All right. So how are attacks going to happen? So our leader is going to post a location, and right after that, who's ever leading will simply write a time in. After they write that time, that's basically going to be a walking attack. If nothing is stated, it's considered walking. Toward the end, we're going to get to speed attacks. All right, and usually that's in that last 5 to 10 minutes. And the leader will announce what that looks like. So I just want to be clear. You'll see a location that you can click on. It'll appear, except for the very first one. The first one, the leader has to type that into chat because it's before we start. And then they're going to use the time on that Fort Wars timer. So look at that. So if they say go at 32:15, that's when you start walking. It's 32:15. When we get to speed attacks, the leader will either say all attacks from now on are speed, or they might put the location on there and they might say speed at, and they'll use that Fort Wars timer. Now keep in mind, you've only got 3 marches, not 5 like a normal event. This one is down to 3. So try to always have 1 march available. So you want to be occupying 1 or 2, and then that 3rd march will be available when you go. All right. Now, we're all in this for the rewards. So getting your rewards is super duper important. So when you go to speed for an attack, so you click on the button right up in here for speed up, you're going to notice that instead of just having the march speeds at 25 and 50%, there are march speeds here that use scrolls, and you get those scrolls from troops you kill, and you also get those scrolls from occupying castles. And it starts out at 100 and 200, and they go up from there. These will progressively get a little higher. But we want to get these scrolls, all right? Now, notice right here, and I put this up, that little icon right there that my cursor is surrounding, it's got a little exclamation point on it. You want to click on that, all right? And when you click on that, you're going to come up to this screen. Okay, and it's got a target, and again, another exclamation point. An exclamation point, as we know, is something we usually want to click on. So we want to click on that or tap on that again. All right, and once you tap on that, that's how you get your rewards, by clicking on the Get Rewards. And notice you've got some different things here. You got some speed ups, but you got the scrolls. Now this is level 1. You only get 200 scrolls at level 1. You get a lot more scrolls as you work your way up levels from points. So we want to do this. I yanked this image from the online. This is not me. That's a pretty ugly guy. That's all I got to say. If you know him, don't tell him I said that. I don't want him to beat me up. All right. Healing. Should I heal during this? All right. If you have plenty of extra healing, absolutely. If you're limited on healing, please try to heal at least your angels and infantry. Angels first and then infantry. All right, because you're going to want those for attacks, especially at the very, very end. All right, we do have a secondary goal. We want everybody to get to level 10. All right, there are 10 levels for rewards on scrolls for the final attack. All right, occasionally we may decide to defend a level 2 or 3 castle so that people can get scrolls so that they have things to do with it. All right, now let's get into some strategies here. If you have overwhelming, if you got a lot of people, overwhelming, I mean, the basic strategy is you take castles and you just hold them. All right. You speed into the center at the very, very end of the war, usually 2 to 5 minutes left. A lot of times we might, especially if we're outnumbered, we might not be able to just by brute strength and ignorance take the castles and hold them. If that's the case, we're going to need to do some fake attacks. All right. So, and it's going to be different for every leader. This is how I do fake attacks. Okay. When you do a fake attack, send minimal troops. You're going to obviously need 2 marches to do it, or you're going to have to speed march your march back. All right. But what I'll do, or what the other leaders will do, is we'll post the location, and then they'll say fake attack at a given time. It's almost always walking. All right. It's almost always walking. Once that goes, a second location will get posted. Most of the time it's a speed, but sometimes it's a walk as well. It'll say speed at, and given another time that's posted. So once your first one is gone, all right, and these both might get posted at the same time because it is wild and crazy when you're doing it. But the locations will be there. So the idea is that all of a sudden they won't have any more marches to defend the castle that we want to take. All right. Now, I want to talk about some preset orders. You might notice some people doing things that are not ordered. All right. Somebody is doing something and you're like, hey, I didn't see an order for that. Don't worry about it. Don't think that they aren't following orders, because they very well could be. There are a few people sometimes that specifically are holding back castles so that we have a route to go further. Sometimes they're defending a castle in there that they do that. Now, I'm here to tell you, yeah, some people are just being D-bags and they're going rogue. They're just doing whatever they want to do. So don't be that person. Anyway, that's the basics on this. Just kind of gives you a little intro into what we do and how it's going to look. Thanks, and I'll talk to you guys later in chat.